yeah, 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 look, ball player, no watching from the side. Said that you got him next, well go ahead and show him why. No limits in the sky, go ahead and take your shot. This one is for the city, let's show him how we rock. Coaches used to call my phone, what you doing, just got home.
What up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Up Next, the podcast where we tell you who's up next in youth sports. So far, it's been all basketball, but we cover all sports. And we cover, like I said, Up Next, and we also cover guys who've been through it, been there, done that, and that's what we got today. We got a special guest, Anthony Morrow, former NBA shooting guard, with Golden State, the Nets, Oklahoma Thunder, a couple other teams. He was a three-point specialist. That's what most people knew him as. He's also a Georgia Tech product, originally from Charlotte, North Carolina. Was the 2004 North Carolina Mr. Basketball. And most recently, probably seen him in the Big Three. And he also has his own podcast. It's the Life Podcast with him and Justin Jack, Jared Jack's younger brother. What's up, man? What's up, Anthony?
Oh, what's up, Jamal? Khalid, what's up, bro? Thank y'all for having me on, man.
Man, it's an honor to have you, man.
And of course, my co-host, the man who makes it happen, Khalid Green. What up? Forgot to introduce my man.
Oh, I'm not gonna be forgotten, baby. I'm here, man. But I'm hyped to see my bro on here, man.
Yeah.
Mr. 10-year vet himself, man, the sniper. So
we go way back, bro. You already know.
Sir.
That's what I was gonna ask. You guys go way back. What's the story with that?
Man, New Jersey Nets, man. Before Brooklyn, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of losing, but my man was putting up numbers. So
hey, man, somebody had to do it, man.
That's right.
I remember my man Khalid used to be around giving the game, man, making sure everybody keep their head right.
Yeah.
Kind of like a mentor to us and stuff like that, man. It was good. It was good having you around.
Yeah. My pleasure. My honor.
Yeah.
Nah, good stuff. So what are you up to now? What I know you got the podcast, but what other stuff are you doing? You still around the game?
I got a training service we started, AM2 basketball training, the AAU program. It's linked with my AAU team, Anthony Morrow Elite. And that's basically like kind of work they hand in hand. So we train the kids. COVID kind of messed it up. North Carolina's still kind of locked down, but South Carolina's open. So we having the tournaments down there. And then doing that, for the past like 3 months, going down there and having tournaments at this new complex. It's this like mega complex center they just built down there in South Carolina, in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Team doing pretty well. Had some really good players play. My little cousin Jalen Curry, 15, he's a sophomore. Got offered from Texas A&M and Florida State already. A couple other kids, you know what I'm saying? So just being like around the game like that, didn't necessarily want to coach. Didn't necessarily want to go do player development league. I appreciate the offers and stuff, but for me, it was just more about doing it on my own, like how I want to do it. Because the knowledge and the experience is there already. I'm like, I can give it back the way I want to. I don't have to beg for an NBA team or something, like to have to associate what I know and what I want to do in my time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if it makes sense, of course, I'm going. But for now, it's been lovely doing that like that. Got a clothing company called Own Sense of Style. And I had that around for about 2 years. Just doing well. It's fun, the creative side, you know what I mean? And probably most importantly, just community work and philanthropy. I'm from West Boulevard, Charlotte, North Carolina. And, it's a legendary area, and it's one of the worst areas ever in Charlotte. And, my foundation is based out of there, Anthony Morrow Charities. Online is anthonymorrowcharities.org. And we just did it. The last thing we just did was a voters event. We got over 500 people registered to vote in my neighborhood, like in my community in West Charlotte. Thanks, bro. And then we're going to do like 2 more kind of like block parties, like when voting actually opens up. So we're going to have like food trucks, DJs. So I'm going to do it in 2 different locations on West Charlotte. I'm doing West Charlotte High and which is where Jeff McGinnis went to school. You know Jeff
Okay.
McGinnis.
Yep. Yep.
West Charlotte High, and I'm gonna do another one on West Boulevard where I'm actually from. And we're gonna have DJs, food. It's gonna be on one of them gonna be on Halloween. We're gonna have candy for the kids. The other one gonna be October 29th, and at Renaissance West in October 31st at West Charlotte High School. We just gonna have something. You can't be on the voting site, so you gotta be at least 100 yards away. But we're gonna be right there on that borderline, as they say that boosts like voting, like the voting percentage up like 4 or 5%.
Okay.
So I mean, it's gonna be fun, and it's gonna be making an experience, man. Even though with early voting everything went really smoothly, so we're gonna try and make sure able to do something to impact. We already got people registered. Now we want to keep people there so they don't get discouraged just in case.
Right.
You know how they do the voter suppression and all that. You know what I'm saying? So keep people out there so they don't want to leave when you get, and just getting the camaraderie around it. So that's pretty. That and the kids. You know what I'm saying? Boy,
Yeah.
damn dog, come get this damn dog.
No, that voter outreach is real because. And the fact you're going to be right around there because they coming strong with their voter suppression this year. You can count on it.
Man, it's like a lot of crazy stuff, bro. It's like more crazy than I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
So but I also feel like it's been a lot more people. And shout out to the NBA and some of these other guys, organizations with guys that have power, status, and capital that have really been and large voices that really been speaking out. You know what I'm saying? And really been like encouraging, putting the owners' feet to the fire. Yo, y'all got to give us this building so people that can't vote on the West End, they can come to Phillips Arena. I think it's still where the Hawks play at.
Right.
And some of these other cities and guys doing that too, and teams. It's important, man, because, I don't think it's ever been this much support and hope. You know what I'm saying? Even though we got all the stuff going on. It's crazy right now, the climate in America, obviously, between the virus and social injustice and police brutality and all that. It's just been more than ever, the support. It's messed up, and it's sad to see how people go down and the soldiers that have fallen from the hands of corrupt police officers. But I also feel like we're in like this black renaissance or something right now, like that we ain't never seen before.
Yeah.
So it's like it's bittersweet, but I think we're taking advantage of it the way we're supposed to.
Yeah.
No question.
Two parts can't share the same time. What do they say in physics? Two opposites can't share the same time in the same space. So
yep.
As one goes down, one has to come up, and it's
That's
our time
to
come up.
Exactly. Yep.
Let's talk about your career, man. Like you went to Georgia Tech. What made you go to Georgia Tech, first of all?
I mean, I'm from Charlotte, so like, in North Carolina, it's kind of unspoken, but you either Duke or North Carolina.
Okay.
And the only school I ever wanted to go to was Chapel Hill, ever. That's the only school I ever wanted to go to. I liked other schools. I liked Wake Forest. I liked Georgia Tech, NC State, everywhere in the ACC. I didn't like Duke. I never liked Duke. I love Coach K. I just, Duke fans get on my nerves. Like,
yeah,
I
can relate.
It's like Cowboy fans.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like, I had my four. I narrowed it down to my four schools. It was UNC Charlotte, Tennessee, NC State, and Georgia Tech. And Georgia Tech was my last official visit. It was the last of my official visits. And I got there, man. It was just like, I liked the coaching staff. Coach Hewitt was cool. The coach that actually recruited me, he ended up leaving before I even got to Tech. But I had such a great relationship and rapport with all of the other coaches and the staff, and it just ended up being a great relationship. Then, on my visit, I'm looking at these guys that just were primed. They just went on that championship run, the way they were about to. You know what I'm saying? And just to pick up like the way they interacted with each other, like everybody, I was like, this like a real kind of family feel. And I can learn a lot because I'm playing, at the time, all of the guys, all the guards were like on the draft board. Jared Jack, Will Bynum, BJ Elder, Ishmael Muhammad. You know what I'm saying? So it was just a lot of dudes that I felt like I could learn a lot from, and I felt like they could take me under their wing, and they challenge me, on and off the court. So, the distance, because UNC Shaw was on there because I didn't want to leave home. My mom was like, you're going to take them off. I'm not letting you stay here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I was the number one recruit in the nation. Like, they was trying to they could never keep nobody that was, ranked or whatever. They couldn't keep none of us at home. Steph, me, like Casey Rivers, like a lot of guys, they just couldn't keep home. So, my mom was just like, I'm not letting that happen. And, NC State, they were cool, but, they took my scholarship. They rescinded my scholarship one day, and then they put it back on the table at the end of the day.
Wow.
So I was like, I got to eliminate them. I don't know what's going on with that.
Right.
And Tennessee was cool because Buzz Peterson, my man, Carolina.
Right.
And, it was just more. I went to on my visit. It was fun, but it was just such a football school. Like it was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Which is cool. But, and then Georgia Tech, man, that my last visit, it was on my birthday. It just felt like everything felt right. So
in Atlanta.
Right.
Yeah, Atlanta. But see,
Atlanta.
That's when I wasn't looking at it like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy because throughout college, it wasn't like we used to we did what college kids did, go to 18 and up clubs. Like, we had no money. Only time we went to like the real nice clubs and the real popping clubs with all the superstars was when Jared and them would come back. Right. And they say, look, come with us to the Velvet Room or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Right. So like, it was cool. But then, when I got out, after my first year with Golden State, I remember I was driving around Atlanta one night. I was about to go pull up on my people. And I was like, this feel different than when I was in college. Peachtree feel different when you're driving. You got a little bit of paper, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I was like,
a whole lot
restrictions or nothing. Like, coaches ain't calling me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes, sir.
So, yeah, man. But yeah, man.
Shout out to the AUC.
Hey, that's for real. That's where I met my daughter's mother went to Clark. My daughter's 12. She's still living in Atlanta. Okay. And she playing volleyball. She out there in Cobb County, man. She just made the school team and she made the club team, the travel team.
Oh, we gotta give her a shout out, man. What's her name?
Shout out to my baby Anaya, man. Mumu.
Word up.
Anaya Mumu.
She gets straight at Anaya Morrow, aka Mumu.
She sounds like she might be up next. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she owned it too. I surprised her at her first game. I went down there and she looking good, man. We're gonna get her training. She kind of raw right now. Right. But, she loved it though. She competitive as hell. I didn't realize that until I got down there and saw they lost, and she was in a bad mood the rest of the day. But
gotta have that.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, that's
a good thing. I'm like, I like that. Yeah.
That's a great thing.
So yeah, it's a blessing.
When you look back on it, your time at Georgia Tech, what do you look back on? Like, what do you think it did for you?
I think for me, it was more of a obviously it's a great school. I'm blessed to be able to go to such a great school, reputation wise. But as far as basketball with Coach Hewitt, and I told every time I talk to Coach Hewitt, I tell him, like, he challenged me. It was more than basketball. Like, it was more mental. Like, because physically everybody was in the gym. I knew I was working, you know what I'm saying? Like, working, like, all day, you know what I'm saying? And I knew that was going to pay off at some point. But it was more about the challenges he brought mentally. At the time, you think, like, why he's saying that to me? Why is he messing with me? But it's just a microcosm of life. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's more the examples. That's just one example of what's waiting for you after college. It's going to be a lot of stuff that represent what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? Not saying he was maliciously doing it. I don't think so. But, it's just like, you got to be prepared to pivot. And you can't just depend on what somebody telling you to do. You got to make sure you putting the work in just in case. Because it was times where, I had coaches basically like, and guidance counselors too, basically tell me like, you need to prepare for a job. I'm like, basketball my job. I don't think you understand that. Like, I'm not going to be one, like, I'm going to be multifaceted, but I'm like, I'm not doing all this for nothing. Like, you tripping. You know what I mean? So, like, just that, like, okay, now I got to understand that if I don't believe in myself with this, these other people not gonna believe in me, even if they saying they are sometimes.
Right.
You know, so I could respect the ones that was like, man, you probably not gonna get drafted. You probably not gonna play in the NBA. Like you gonna be overseas or something. Like what you want to do? And I was like, I don't know, but I know I'm stuck in this like mental grind where I'm not coming out of it just because one or two people don't believe. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
so I mean, it was more mental strength that I learned at Tech. Like, and it was great. I needed every year, all 4 years, I needed all of them.
Right.
And they really helped me transition to, you know, mentally being able to be behind the 8 ball, not getting drafted, sticking around, staying focused. You know what I'm saying? Like my focus wasn't on what the dudes that got drafted focus was.
Right.
I was on a real mission.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I came in the league with some dudes that I ended up playing 6, 7, 8 more years than them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I mean, they still the homies and everything, but I was like, bro, I wasn't into the stuff you was into.
Right.
I mean, like, I knew it was going to be time for that, but it's different. It hit different when you know, like, you could be cut at any moment. My first couple years in the league, you know, so it's just a mentality, man.
Yeah, talk about that, man, because I don't think people know. Like I've been around, you know, AAU. I'm in deep in AAU, and kids, you know, all
Yeah.
kids talk about they gonna get drafted and this and that. But
Yeah.
the other side of it is the real ones are the ones that I listened to Popeye Jones one time. He said,
Oh, man.
real ones know how to eat soup with a fork. You know what I mean? So
That sounds like something Popeye would say. That's my man.
shout out to Popeye.
That's my man, Popeye, yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Popeye. So
Popeye,
talk
my guy.
about that, man, because that's a different type of mentality, perseverance, determination that goes into making it and not getting drafted, man.
Yeah, it's a different kind of focus, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, just a quick story, like an example of how I was on it mentally. Like, when I was before my rookie year, we had training camp coming up, probably like a week, something like that. So I ain't never had been through no NBA training camp, obviously. I just know what college preseason was like. And I was like, it can't be harder than that. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, in my mind, I'm preparing for it to be like that. But I'm like, I don't think it's going to be the same. We got vets, you know, whatever.
Right.
So, if you know anything about the Golden State Warriors facility currently, I think now they're going to be in San Francisco. But what it was in the past was the practice facility was connected to the Marriott Hotel. So it was at the top of the Marriott Hotel. You know, of course, you had to have like clearance and all that to get up there.
Right.
Couldn't just go up there for whoever. So when I didn't have no apartment in there. So they put me and the other undrafted guy in a hotel.
Right.
So, you know, I ain't got money. I'm not looking for no woman or nothing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm worried about my daughter back in Atlanta, you know, my lady, her mother at the time. And, you know, just basically getting used to the culture. I liked being in Oakland because it was such a different culture. It was a culture shock from what I was used to, Charlotte, Atlanta, you know, Southeast. And I remember, like, I was like, you know, I would get up, you know, I would work out, I would practice, I'll play pickup, whatever we did, work out again, eat, go take a nap, wake up at like 7:30, 8 o'clock, and go back to the gym. So I go back to the gym and lift, and then I get on the shooting gun, get like 300-400 makes up, work on my handle or something, and then go back. You know what I'm saying? So I was doing that. Like I started, because I was doing it like maybe twice a week. Then I turned it up like 3 or 4 times a week because training camp was the next week. So one day I walk in the gym to like pick up or workouts or whatever, and Keith Smart and Sidney Moncrief come up to me. They're my assistant coaches.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like what the hell? Like, I ain't did nothing. Like, what's up, man? Like, y'all finna cut me? Like, what? I ain't even started yet. Like, you know. So they're like, look, you need to stop coming in here so much at night. So I'm like, how the hell y'all know I'm coming in here? So they point up, and it's all kind of cameras. I ain't realized that. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, look, you ain't never been through no NBA training camp. Don't burn yourself out. Like, you working hard. We see what you doing. You turning heads. Like, just don't press it or don't overdo it because you don't want to burn out in training camp and not perform how you want to. You know what I'm saying? So I called my mom and I was like, look, the men told me don't come in as much at night. You know what I'm saying? I was in here getting it in. And then, you turn around, wake up at 8 o'clock, we right back at it, And she was like, look, you rather them tell you chill out than you need to go harder. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So, that was my mentality, And then that led to the Jersey deal and the OKC, just the longevity of it,
Right.
So, a lot of dudes' mentalities, I just saw it was different. They want to go out, I'm not saying I didn't go out and stuff like that, but in the beginning, I was like, bro, especially in the beginning, and that game, I gained the respect of all my vets early,
Right.
especially Steven Jackson. Stack is ain't no in between with him. He
Right.
ride with you or he don't. You know what I'm saying? He gonna see how you give it up early, and then he gonna go from there and treat you accordingly.
Right.
And I respect that. You know what I'm saying? I learned a whole lot from him, man. And he took me on his wing. He brought me in one day and said, look, bro, I got your back on everything. You know what I mean? I remember it was the day before you get cut. So, you have the scrimmage in front of the fans. And I hope I ain't talking too much, yo.
Nah,
Man,
good.
it's
Good.
great.
sure. All right. So, the day before they have final cuts. So, there was a guy named Rob Kerr. Shout out to Rob. That was my man. He was playing well in preseason too. He was with the Warriors. So it's the scrimmage in front of the fans the day before they make the final cut. So, we was scrimmaging, having fun. They was making the rookies dance and all this goofy stuff. And, I was at the scores table, and it might have been the third quarter of the game. And me and Stack was at the scores table together. And he was on the opposite team. And I said, Stack, I said, man, I had been thinking about this all day, all the night before, couldn't sleep.
Right.
I'm like, man, you put all in all that work.
Absolutely.
I say, Stack, man. He was like, what's up? I was like, hey, man, they going to cut me. He was like, well, you made the team. They been knew you made the team. You good. They going to cut Rob tomorrow. And it just I was like, bro, you have no idea. I was like, all right, cool.
He's on the other team now. He's on the other team.
Yeah, he was on the other team. We was going back into we was both subbing back into the game.
Yeah.
And I just Stack, yo, what they gonna do, man? They gonna don't let them cut me, man. He was like, well, you been made the team. They just ain't tell you yet.
Right.
He was like, nah, they gonna cut Rob tomorrow. So it just I was being cool, all right. But in my mind, I'm like, man, the weight that just lifted off my, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I remember the next day I went in and Rob wasn't there. And they, you know what I'm saying, Coach Don Nelson, they give you the rookie, made the team, all that. Everybody was cheering. It was cool, man. It was cool. It was like what you see on Hard Knocks or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It was some TV type stuff.
Right.
But it was cool though, bro. Real cool.
So let me let's go even further back, right? When did you start playing? And also, I just from watching you play your J, it's always seemed very were you born with that? Because that's most people who got a J like that. I feel like you're born with that, the stroke.
I wouldn't say born with it, but I always tell people, I always shout my cousin out, Rontrice Morrow, and nickname Bam Bam.
Shout out to Bam.
Shout out to Bam, man, Bam, because so he went to Myers Park. Played at Myers Park High School, which is a really good basketball program now. And, I used to hang with him a lot. Anytime, we all grew up in the same hood, Little Rock apartment. So, I used to always hang out and want to be around him because he had all the Michael Jordan tapes, all the NBA superstar tapes. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know where he was getting them from, but I used to be like, I just want to watch it. I don't even need to take it home. So he used to let me watch the tapes, watch the game. We used to watch NBA games together. And he wasn't even a great shooter. I just remember seeing him play one time and he had 28. And I thought he was going to the league. I was a kid, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he wasn't a great shooter, but his form was beautiful. You know what I'm saying? And he used to give me tips when I was 9, 10 years old, yo, get the seams right. You know what I'm saying? Work on catching and finding the seams quick as possible. Mm. It was mechanical stuff. Keep balance eyes, elbow, follow through. He really taught me the meaning of that. You know what I mean? My bad, dog. Hold on. Yeah. Just balance, just little stuff. And, he say, yo, take your basketball when you at at night when you in the bed laying on your back. Get like 200 of these. That's gonna strengthen your wrist. You know what I mean?
The
So
old
he's
school
like, you're gonna be
stuff.
able to shoot different. Yeah, you're gonna be able to shoot from a longer distance than your peers.
Yes.
And I just took it serious. I don't know. I think I say around like 12, like around 13, 12 or 13, I started realizing like, oh, these dudes, I shoot better than like all these dudes at my
Right.
age.
Right.
And you kind of like mix that in with the mentality that I grew up with, like, you know, that hood mentality that's like when you hooping, it's like competitive, it's like war, like we at each other. Because you in your neighborhood playing against your friends, and that's how we going at people. You know what I'm saying? So I just kept that. Like that was natural right there. That was more natural than my jump shot.
Okay.
You know, that edge, that having that edge, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, so I think that, you know, when I was 13, I was playing for the Charlotte Nets. I think I had like 71, 65 or something like that. I might hit like 13 or 14 threes. And then people start seeing like, oh, nah, he working. He worked on it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it's like, it came natural, but I'm glad and I'm blessed to learn the things I learned from Cuz early. It really like, he broke it down to where I could explain. I mean, I could translate it to actually doing it. It wasn't no complicated stuff. That's why I tell people now with training, like, bro, ain't no reinventing the wheel. Like some of this stuff I see on Instagram is weird.
Yeah.
I'm like, man,
Real
y'all are
cool,
confusing these kids. That's
Right.
bad.
Yeah.
Right.
Coach
Like
Shula
what?
used
Give
to
me
say
an example. Give me an example.
Man, it's just some of the, I can't even think of anything specific. It's like some of the drills I'm seeing. I'm like, bro, when is he gonna do that in the game? Like y'all got, I can understand like cones and you know, the pads when you trying to work on finishing at the rim. But some of this other stuff, I'm like, bro, that don't make no sense. Like that would never be near a basketball goal. Like that would never be in a gym. Why do you have that in the gym? You know what I'm saying? Like, why is that kid doing that?
Right.
You know. So it's just like
it's like they training to be globetrotters instead of ballers, man.
Yeah, I'm like, what you trying to do? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like some it's just, you know, I like when I say like when we were training, you know, I tell people, parents, and I tell the kids, I'm like, look, I'm finna let you do what I do, what I did that worked for me.
Right.
You know, it ain't, you know, some of the drills you're gonna have to get older, like you're gonna have to be more advanced. Some drills aren't for other kids, whatever. Every kid not the same. But I'm like, I got the blueprint for all of them.
Facts.
You know what I mean? So, you know, man, I think it was more natural of the mentality than it was, you know, I had to work on that every day. You know what I'm saying? So.
Do you think like with social media now and kids liking each other and all of that, you think that that the edge is not there anymore as far as competing in AAU basketball?
You know, I wouldn't say that. I think the edge is there still. They're just different now. You know, like, and me and my brother go back and forth, my older brother, who actually puts my teams together he put the roster together for the team. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, he an old school dude, man. So he don't understand none of this ranking, Instagram highlight stuff. Like, he ain't with none of that, you know. We talk every single day about this. Like, and we in group chats with some of his older homies. So it's like my generation is right before under theirs.
Right.
So I got to hear all of them talk junk now about the younger generation now. And I'm like, bro, it's different, man. Like, you know, like, I'm like, first of all, a lot of them didn't have like what I had. Like my people, like my older people, like they was hard on us. You know what I'm saying? Hard. Like they was going at you. They wasn't giving you no advantage. You weren't really getting compliments ever. You just had to, you know, I was like, because, you know, these kids play up now because there's so many more teams. If you was able to play up when you was young, like my generation, you was cold.
Right.
I was 14 playing with the 16-year-olds one weekend in the AAU. And I'm like, cool. I want to play with the 16-year-olds. Like, I'm going to go at them. And then when I got to go back to play with these 14-year-olds, they don't stand a chance.
Right.
You know, so when kids don't think like that now, they just stay within their lane because they want to have highlights and stuff. And, you know, I mean, I don't hold a lot of, I wouldn't, like I said, I don't think it's the edge because there's some of them young boys, like, I'll be telling my brother, I'm like, look, bro, a lot of these kids you see that's ranked high, they not that good, but they think they are, and their parents definitely think they are better than what they really are, which is cool. Don't get me wrong. I say, but you got to also understand that it's some of them dudes that got what we like our traits, and they killers. You know what I'm saying? So like that's why you can't just dismiss all of them.
Right.
Like you got to nurture all of them the same way, but you got to know how to communicate with them because they didn't have what we had.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's just it's a balance, but and then it's all about evaluating the players and who's evaluating the players.
Right.
Some of these dudes don't deserve to be evaluating these kids because it's, I mean, from what I taking money sometimes,
Right.
and, you know, you want a relationship with the parent, like, you know, it's some goofy stuff going on too. So you just got to go and do it the right way as best as you can. You know, that's how I look at it.
So when you were coming up in Charlotte, in high school, did you play 4 years varsity? You know, what was the scene like in Charlotte? Who were some of the other guys that you were going up against?
Okay, so my freshman year originally, because I was young, like in my first year in ninth grade, I was supposed to be like in the eighth grade. So I went to South Mecklenburg High School, and I played JV. So the coach was like, you know, I never played ever. Like I never got in the game ever. It was crazy. Like win, lose, blowout, whatever.
Wow.
Never. So, you know, I had this tutoring program that I used to take, and it used to sometimes run at the same time as JV practice. So I would have to practice with the varsity. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Which was crazy. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna ever be able to do this. Like they fast, big, strong. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, keep in mind I'm supposed to be in the eighth grade though. So I'm like extra skinny, like I'm you know, like 6'1", whatever, maybe 6'2", I don't know. And so coach, I asked him like, Coach, why can't, because keep in mind, I'm playing against all these dudes on my team and these dudes on these other teams at the YMCA, at the rec, in the park. Like I'm playing against them and they know I can hoop.
Right.
They're like, bro, why you don't never get in the game? What you do to the coach? I'm like, I don't do nothing, bro. He just don't play me.
Right.
Like, so I asked him one day, I'm like, Coach, like, keep it real. It's after our game and the varsity's playing now. So I pull him to the side. I'm like, Coach, why can't I, like, what's up, man? Like, I can't ever play. Like, what I need to work on? I'm not even on no play me. I'm like, what do I need to work on? He was like, what you think you do well? And I was like, I said everything, basically. Like, rebound, I can play defense, like, knowing I'm – and I was like, I could shoot, I could score. And he was like, you're not good at none of that. I'm like, none? Like, I play against and with these guys. They know I can play.
Right.
Like, AAU, you know what I'm saying? He was like, nah. He was like, I don't see it. He was like, I can't. Like, you'll be lucky if you play varsity next year. Like, you need to work on everything. You're not strong enough. You need to grow a little bit. You need to get strong. Like, he, like, scoffed at me. You know what I mean? So I went home. My mom was already frustrated with Charlotte Mecklenburg school system, as she should have been. And I went home and told her about what Coach said, and she got, you know, she was like, don't let that discourage you. She was like, I'm getting you out of school anyway, because I just don't, the school side of it is number one for me, and I can't let you, like, stay in this system of mediocrity, because they don't really care. They just want to pass you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, they just give you a C and say whatever, whether they look at it or not. You know what I'm saying? So she took me out, and we was looking for another school, and I ended up going to Charlotte Latin. A partner of mine at the time and his mom, he was there, a black kid. And, you know, they were more well off. And I was close with them. And he ended up getting kicked out of school. But he, like, they suggested, like, yo, you should come try to get in Latin. So we went and take the placement test. And I met my high school coach, Jerry Faulkner. Shout out to Jerry Faulkner, legendary coach here in Charlotte, North Carolina. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, we had to talk. Like, you know, he's like, it ain't about basketball. It's about academics. I want you to go to college for free. Your mama ain't got to pay. All that kind of stuff. So I'm like, I don't even know if I passed this placement test. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing here. I mean, I had never been around that many white people at one time. Like, you know, it was just right. Like, you know, just a culture thing. Because I'm thinking like as a 14-year-old. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Of course.
So I ended up getting in through the grace of God. My freshman year, I didn't play a lot because coach was big on seniority. You know, him and Dean Smith and Roy Williams was real close. And, you know, they was on a seniority, you know, old school, which was cool. You know what I'm saying? The guy in front of me was a really, really good player, Brian Kennelly. And he ended up getting hurt for like 6 or 7 games, and I was starting. We playing well, you know, probably averaged like 14, you know, as a freshman or whatever. It was cool, 15, something like that in that span. He came back. I went back to the bench. And then I remember like that summer, I played AAU, I think. No, I didn't play AAU. That's the first year my mama took me out of AAU because Coach Faulkner said we know what he need to work on now. He don't need to play AAU. So in my mind, I'm like, wow, like I can't play. Like now, I didn't play a lot in a year. Now I can't play with I got to play with the homies. I'm not going to come out the game. I'm finna average 50 in the summertime. Like, I'm going at everybody. You know what I'm saying? So they, like, convinced me. Like, well, I wasn't. They didn't convince me. I was trying to convince them to let me play. They was like, no.
Right.
So that was probably one of the biggest summers of my life because shout out to assistant coach Donnie Fullwood. Really great brother. Like kind of like a mentor to me, too. And, you know, summertime, I was living on the west side, so from Latin, that's like 35 minutes or something like that.
Okay.
So he was coming to get me in the summertime when everybody playing AAU. He was coming to get me every day, all the way to my house, all the way to Latin, hour and a half on the weights, hour and a half on the court. You know what I'm saying? So I learned really how to work out that summer because I didn't really know how to work out. We just go hoop every day. You know how that go.
Right.
So I'm learning basket, like ball handling drills, you know, that I'm feeling like they working. You know what I'm saying? It's getting better. It feels more comfortable. Coming off screens, different ways, footwork stuff, you know what I'm saying? Floaters, different shots, you know, just I learned how to really work out. And I credit a lot of that to Coach Fullwood, you know what I'm saying? And you know, I grew a couple inches, so I might have been about 6'4". So going into my sophomore year, so I had all summer of that. And then, of course, still hooping at the YMCAs and all this stuff. Excuse me, and at the Rex and Park, whatever. Just not AAU. So I go into my sophomore year, and first game I had like 25, like 10 rebounds or something. So now people like, you kind of grew, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you look different. And I didn't look back, bro. I didn't look back. And it was just, from then on, I understood my routine was in my routine. Like, a lot of 14, 15-year-olds wasn't working out like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Not where I'm from. So I knew I had something that they didn't have, and that boosted my confidence even more.
Right.
So,
wow.
Talk
won
about
2 state championships.
Oh, you won 2 states?
Back to back. Junior year, senior year. Should have won 3. Sophomore year, we got knocked off in the first round.
Nice.
But, yeah, man, it was cool, man. I loved it.
Talk about your now a lot of people don't know, but you had your first start in the league, man. How big were your eyes? How big were your eyes? You dropped, I looked at the stats, you dropped 37 and 15 for 20 from the field and 11 rebounds, man. Talk about that night, man.
It's crazy because I didn't know I was starting till like the day of the game. Because like I want to say I forgot who it was, but they got hurt or they didn't play or something like that. So they had to switch the lineup. So, you know, I had been in the grind. I had been working. Coach knew what I had going on. You know what I mean? Actually, like, I went out the night before. Like, I was with the team. We all went out the night before. But, like, I wasn't, like, drinking or nothing then like that. So I remember just being out, coming back to the room, playing Xbox. Good night rest, wake up, had shoot-around or whatever. Everything was cool. It was an early game, so we had to have, like, the early, like, kind of makeshift shoot-around, not like the real when you got, like, a night game. And it's a couple hours for the game. Don Nelson, Coach Don, shout out to Coach Don Nelson, was like, hey, Rook, you start. And then he just went back to talking about what he was talking about. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, all right. You know what I mean? So I remember I was going Coutinho Mobley. Coutinho's so good, especially back then. It's 2008, Coutinho Mobley.
Oh, no question.
Dang, boy. Yeah, man. So, you know, I don't really understand. Like, I don't even really understand the full concept of NBA defense versus college defense. So I'm out there just like trying to figure all that out. Patino isoing me, you know what I mean? So I remember I had like a layup, I had like a mid-range jumper, and then I hit like another jumper. Now Catino's scoring on me on the other end too.
Right.
So like I hit like my first 3 shots or something like that. And then they called, it was like a stoppage in play. We was up a lot. Like we was up like maybe like 18-4, I don't know, 18-6. Catino had all their points at that point. So I come, they call a timeout. I come to the bench. I'm like, feeling good. Had been feeling good, great. That day, everything, workouts.
Right.
So I sit down and they're like, yeah, Rook, keep going, blah, blah, don't worry about it. They telling me like keys, like force him right because he left it. Just stuff like that. So Don Nelson come back and he talks to us in the huddle. He calls a play. We come out the huddle, he called a play. I get the ball and I run the play. So Stack on the bench, you know what I'm saying? He was like, what the you passed the ball for? You just scored 3 in a row.
Right.
He called it was another timeout, and he going in on me. Don't pass that. You just hit 3 in a row. Don't worry about no play. Hey, go at him. And they gave me I was like, I got you. But they gave me a lot of comments like, oh, Stack saying that. Everybody gonna listen to that. You know what I mean? So I come out, I'm breaking plays now. Pull up jumper, then catch a shoot, another catch a shoot. I look up, I got like 14. So I'm like, damn, it's like the first quarter. So I'm like, okay. Second quarter, more the same. Third quarter, I'm in a groove now. I'm like, yeah, I got you. Bow. You know what I'm saying? So when I look up, it's like I got like 32 or something like that. And then I remember I got like an and one. And by this time, I'm like not really, I'm realizing that the Clipper fans are cheering for me. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we had a bunch of fans, like Golden State fans everywhere, especially, you know, in California. But I'm noticing like they cheering, like it ain't just Golden State fans. I get the and one, I dapped up Ronnie Turiel, and I hit the free throw. And then I hit like another jumper or something, and then looked up and they was like, I didn't even know how many points I had. I ain't know nothing. I was in a zone. I was locked in, bro.
Right.
Like, yeah, it was crazy, bro. Like when they was at like, cause after the game, it was like, you know, I felt good doing interviews and all that. And then you know, the reporter guys had to tell you, like, yo, you had 37. I was like, damn. In my mind, I'm like, shit, I had 40. You know what I'm saying? Like, gotta go harder, man. You know what I'm saying? Like this how I was thinking back then. Yeah, I'm like, man, I should have had 40, bro. So then, like, the funny thing, it was funny because I still talk to my homie CJ Watson. Shout out to CJ Watson.
Oh, what's up, CJ? Yeah.
Yeah, CJ, my man. So I remember, like, you know, you shower, you come out the shower, and, you know, my back turned to like the media. So the media ain't talked to me about nothing up until this point. So I'm not even acknowledging them.
Right.
I'm talking to CJ beside me. I'm like putting on my stuff and we talking, laughing a little bit. And then remember I turned around, I was gonna walk to the bus. And, you know, a PR guy came, whoa, you gotta talk to them. I was like, oh, they for me today. It was like, I'm talking about 20 people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they was laughing about it, like, you know, just like stuff like that, man. It's like, it was cool. And getting back on the, we were in LA, flew back to the Bay. I remember my man Marcus Williams, his homie Tyrus was his like right-hand man. Marcus wasn't at the house. I remember I got back, I dropped my bag. We always go hang out at Marcus' house. And it was just me and Tyrus. So Tyrus had watched the game. He looking at me like, bro, he was going crazy. So I'm like, yeah, man, like shit, I was in the zone, dog. He like, nah, dog, like that's crazy. Like you ain't even, you hadn't really played.
Right.
Like, you know, I'm in the gym, bro. I felt, you know. So we sit down and then we turn on ESPN. I wish he was here too because he's funny as hell. He still bring this up. He still bring this up. And we turn on like ESPN. And right when they put it on ESPN, it's like a picture of me in like high school, college, you know, because my career high at Tech was like 31.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like my brother he still to this day brings up like how much Coach Hua used to sub so much. You couldn't really, Like it's a lot. Like 31 at Tech back then.
That's a lot, yeah.
Coach Jordan,
Yeah,
it's like 50.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because most coaches will just say, like, especially in that time, I used to be jealous of the homies, not for real jealous, but I used to be like, all the dudes that was guards, like they never come out the game.
Right.
These dudes, that's why they averaging 20, 22.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He averaging 25. Like,
Right.
I want to, if I hit 3 shots, leave me in the game, bro.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Let
it was
them
just
live.
a philosophy. Yeah, you know, but a lot of dudes go through that. I wasn't tripping. I was like, man, we gotta be efficient. So I think that also take the silver line and look at it like it helped my efficiency playing like that in college.
Right.
Because Don Nelson is like, he used to say, hey, if you pass up another open shot, I'm fining you. Like, I'm gonna fine you like $1,000, which is a lot for me. I'm like, I ain't got it like them. Look, he said, but he used to do that. He used to fine you if you catch it in the corner, and I scissor my feet when I kick, like when I shoot. You know, before I catch, I scissor my feet to get my feet right.
Right.
And if you in a corner, if y'all know basketball, you in a corner, you can step back and step out of bounds.
That's right.
If you did that, he would fine you $1,000.
Oh wow.
Like he just was like that, you know. But I mean, it was cool, man. But yeah, it was dope, man.
That's great. That's kind of like, I feel like that's almost was like a theme for you. Like you were just capable any given night of just going off. Like
yeah.
Whether you started or not, it was like, you know, you were the type of dude to just wind up with 30 plus. Like, oh, okay. You know,
Yeah.
is that like you feel like that was like your mentality had something to do with that, or, well, you know, how did you just navigate it like that?
No, man, it was mentality, bro. Like, for real. Like, I had some great mentors. I still got them. I thank God for them. Charlton Young at Florida State. He was the head assistant.
That's my
Georgia
man,
Tech.
Charlton. Cool.
CY, my man.
Yeah, CY.
Like, CY did so much for me. He had these quotes I still use, and I use them with the youth now, like the youngins. You know, I would get mad. Coach take me out the game. Coach yelling. Coach on my ass in practice. You got to do this, blah, blah. And I would go see why, like, man, why you always on blah, blah? I'm tripping. And he's just looking at me like, you done. You got a bite-sized mind, son. You got to supersize your mind like a Snickers bar. Like, he had all these, like, analogies. You know what I'm saying? Like,
CY, baby.
Yeah, you know CY. You know. Like, all these, like, analogies and stuff like that, like, it stuck with me. So, like, by my senior year, he was really – because CY he'll tell you right now, like, I had to strip you down because you thought you was good. I made you a pro. But it is here. You know what I mean? Like, you had a heart, work ethic. I had to help you navigate. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know, it was more mental with that, man. And it was like, he's like, look, just be efficient. Like, you in the gym, you can't control how you shoot every night. That's offense. Like, you got to control your mentality every day, though.
That's right.
And it's not just basketball, you know what I'm saying? So, like, that was, like, the main thing, man. Like, so when I come into games and, you know, he like, look, it don't matter if you start, come on the bench, whatever. You know what I mean? And he was like, you put the work in, just go out there and play. You can't control that other stuff. Control what you can control. You control your work ethic. You control your focus. You can control your attention to detail.
Right.
And you did your job for the day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're going to get an effort. Like, everybody, you know what I mean? Like, so that was, like, extremely imperative. Coach Charlton Young was huge in terms of the efficiency, you know, just the mental toughness. You know, he was really big on that. And also, like, you know, I never really cared if I started or came off the bench. Like, a lot of guys was, you know, really concerned about that. And it's more ego. I'm like, what does it matter?
Right.
That's why I always shout out my brother, my homie, my partner, Lou Will. You know what I'm saying? Because he always been like this. Like, people don't know. Like, people know he came out of high school, so he was cold, obviously.
Right.
But I remember when we was like 9 or 10. I think I might be like a year older than Lou. So he might have been like 9, and I might have been like 10 or 11 or something. And I remember watching him in AAU, and I was like, cuz different for a kid. He played like he play now. I be telling people he has played the same way since we were little kids, bro. You know what I'm saying? And
Lou, baby.
you know, man, just his mentality. Yeah, man, Lou Willville.
I could actually envision that. I can envision a 10-year-old Lou Williams.
He's been a bucket.
bro, he been like that. You know, we had the same agent. You know what I mean? So like, you know, we spent a lot of time together over the years, man. Played together in Atlanta. You know, obviously just being in Atlanta, you know, hoop scene and all that. But I told him, I was like, man, I'm gonna keep it real, dog. Like you inspire me. He's like, what you mean? Man? I was like, nah, man, like, you probably don't remember this, but I was like, because I'm gonna come off the bench more years than I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
And when I see what you doing, it makes me keep the mentality that I need, because it don't matter if he's shooting well or not. He's not compromising his game. Like, he's gonna be him.
Right.
And I always thought that was like admirable for him to be, you know, well, he didn't get $6 million a year this year. They gave it to Trez, right?
Trez, yeah.
Mhm.
Trez.
Well, he could have gave it to Lou. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that's good. That's
He's
big
always
for Trez.
right
But
there.
yeah, I mean, he been top 2. He gonna get it for like 10. I don't know however many years it's been.
Yep.
So like, you know, I told him, I'm like, man, that's a special thing. That's a special skill to have mentally, to think like that. You know what I'm saying? And still be efficient and still win 6 men of the year and be in the conversation every single year for that. I was like, bro, I admire that, cuz. You know what I'm saying? That's dope.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So you're doing the AAU, you know, training stuff now,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, you mentioned before, you know, you don't really like, you know, all the things everybody's doing as far as the AAU culture now. But as a whole, when you know, through, you know, you're part of it now. How do you view the scene? Like, do you think it's helping kids for the most part? Do you think AAU is an issue, or what?
Yeah, that's like, it's some pros and some cons. I say it like that. And I'm not saying I'm like just coming in reinventing the wheel, because I know I'm not. But just for an example, like, you know, I look at AAU, and it may be a little bit of an extreme, because I talked to my agent about this, because he runs the Atlanta Celtics. You know what I'm saying? I believe he still runs the Atlanta Celtics. And you know, like, I just look at it like, you got this system, I feel like, where you Zion up here, and you're not going to pay for anything. You know you're going to be one and done. Cool. You go to any camp you want, you got to pay nothing. You got kids down here that aren't good. Parents got a lot of money, pay for them to get in these camps. Then you get kids in the middle, don't really get the opportunity, may not be Zion, but definitely ain't as bad as some of these other kids, and they don't get the opportunity because it's not getting paid for. But at the same time, they mamas and them can't afford to get them into the camp, where if they got into the camp, they'll be at the eye, like the eyes would be on them, you know, versus just this gap. But it's not that extreme, don't get me wrong. But it's for the most part that, because I've been watching it, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So my team, my brother, we look for like those middle kids, and we pay for the tournaments so that they can just come showcase themselves. And a lot, what I see is those kids go super hard. Like, them boys diving on the floor. They be putting it all on the line, because they're like, man, I don't know if I'm ever get this. They said Georgetown was watching, streaming the game. They said Carolina here. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like that for me. That's my role. That's my approach with the AAU, because it's a lot of silly stuff going on that I don't put up with. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's pros, because if you're approaching it the right way and your heart in the right place to help kids for real, I think that's great. The cons, obviously, a lot of these coaches don't really care. A lot of them taking money. A lot of them buying kids, risking their eligibility, putting it on the line. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's that goofy stuff that I'm like, we ain't moving like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's pros and it's cons. And it's more like I told my brother, I was like, bro, you gotta understand the rules have changed. We grew up, I played for the Charlotte Nets.
I remember
we had three major, really only three programs: the Charlotte Aces, the Charlotte Royals, and the Charlotte Nets. You know, and then like the Charlotte Stars came, and that's Stephen Curry and them. That's like they was a little younger though, but they came a little later. But it was the Aces, the Royals, and the Nets.
Right.
And if you couldn't make one of them teams, you just playing rec league, bro. Like, you playing rec league and church leagues and stuff. It was so much talent on them teams because it was so little options.
Right.
But now it's like not even, I mean, you can just make a team. Like, it's a million teams now. So they changed the rules. Because like back then, if you was with the Nets, you couldn't play for nobody else if y'all lost. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all lost in High Point or pool play or something like that, you ain't qualify. If they end up changing the rule to like you can take 2 players off a team and put them with another Charlotte team to go to the Nationals. So one year we lost with the Nets, and the Royals said, "Yo, we want Ant." And asked my mama, and my mama had just gotten into it with them folks, so she probably was being petty. So she was like, "Yeah, he going with the Royals to Cocoa Beach, Florida." You know what I'm saying? So and I thank God for that because I didn't want to stop playing. I knew we weren't gonna make the Nationals the Nets that year.
Right.
And I ended up staying with them for a couple years, and then I went back to the Nets. And then, you know, it was just like, you know, it was, yeah, man, it was cool. I think it's pros and it's cons, but I think, you know, I like my brother hates the fact that one weekend the kid can play for us, and the next weekend he goes to another team. The next weekend he want to play for us again, and he's like, I don't want him back. That's disloyal. I'm like, bro, that's the rules. Like, it's cool now. It's not like back in the day. Like, you got to adjust to some of this stuff. So. Yeah. You know, but I get it. You know, I don't really blame him. I get it. I'm just like, bro, calm down. But it's pros and cons, man. You know, it's cool.
So basically, you look at it like you're trying to give kids an opportunity. Kids who may not have been seen. That's who you focus on. Kids who are you feel like are good enough, but just need to get in front of people.
Yeah, that's like the target, but it's not just limited to that.
Right.
Like we had a couple kids play, like my little cousin I told you, Jalen Curry played for me. He played for me and he played up. So he's 15, he played with the 17s. And the first weekend, this is like important to me too. Let me say this. Because I had another kid that played for me that's his age too, that played well. Aiden Holloway. We call him Biscuit.
We're going to follow him. We're going to follow him on the gram.
Yeah, check my little homies out, man. Check out little cousin Jalen Curry and Aiden Holloway. And, you know, I just stress it because I got a great relationship with the parents, all of them, you know.
Okay.
They can reach out. I'm going to always communicate with them over, you know, whatever. And Jalen was 15. He played up with I'm 17 and up, like under like a showcase. But I tell the youngins if they good enough, come play because I ain't going to take you. I'm going to let you rock. Come let these 17-year-olds beat up on you and you go out there and go at them in front of Ohio State or Michigan or something. Like, you don't know what could happen.
That's right.
He played for me Friday through Sunday. Had like a 40-point game with like 12 assists. Had another 25 and 8, another 22 and 14. And it's against 17 and up. Like some of these dudes have this is Jalen Curry, my little cousin.
And he's what year?
He's a sophomore now. He had Combine Academy with Touche.
Wow.
Well, Jeff McGinnis.
Those
and bro, that was that weekend. By Wednesday, Texas A&M off him. You know what I mean? He come back the next weekend and kill. By Thursday, he on, you know what I'm saying, Florida State.
Right.
You know, offer him. So like, you know, and Biscuit came and played. He got Virginia Tech and Syracuse offers. These boys 15 years old. You know what I mean? So like I encourage that a lot. The young boys play up, man. You know what I'm saying? Because we didn't have, like, when I was, like I said, I'm 14, you get to play with the 16 sometimes, practice with them. If you got to practice with them, you was nice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that probably happened like once or twice where I actually played up. 15, played with the 17. You know what I mean?
Right.
And, you know, I encourage that, man, for real. Because our play up wasn't really AAU. It was just that we played at the rec and at the YMCA with grown men.
Right.
They let you come over to that main court at the YMCA and let you get down. You nice.
Yeah,
right. The homies come in like, damn, cuz out there with them.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was when it was like you might catch anybody. David Wesley from the Hornets, Baron Davis. You might catch a couple Chapel Hill dudes in there, UNC Charlotte, and you up there getting down with them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You get respect in the hood. And I'm like, man, look, y'all want to go back to play? Yeah. Y'all can't see. You know who I just came up the court with? Y'all boys don't stand a chance when we get back over there, boy. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. It's some pros and cons, man. It's cool.
So with the young boys, you're talking about, I mean, you've been there, done that. You know what I'm saying? You did it. Everybody, you know, when they 14, 15, that's where they trying to just get to the league. You did that. You did it unconventional way. still
Yeah.
in the league 10 years. What advice do you
Mhm.
give those kids now who got a little bit of shine, but they only 14, 15, they got a long way to go?
Man, I tell them, that's a great question too, because I have to have these conversations. I tell little cuz, I say, look, man, gotta stay humble, gotta stay hungry. You know what I mean? You gotta keep your grades right. You gotta keep the pressure off your mama. You know, you gotta be proactive. I tell these kids, Makai Grant, here in Charlotte, his mom is actually one of my closest friends. His dad was my best friend growing up, Kings Park, and he passed away, God bless his soul. But, I'm in his life now, almost like a godfather type figure. You know what I'm saying? So, he was getting into it. He's also ranked. He got NC State offer, 6'9", 210, bounce, pogo stick, like just athletic and skilled for his age and size. 16 years old. I tell all of them, I'm like, man, keep the pressure off your parents, man. Keep the pressure off your mama. Be proactive.
Yep.
Not just on the court, but off the court. Do stuff around the house. Do stuff to help her. It's going to go a long way, bro. And get used to doing that, because that's what life is about anyway.
Yeah.
It's like more than just basketball stuff, I tell them, you need to average 3 blocks this year. And then I tell them, man, make sure you get your work done. And please don't have your mama call. They're going to call me, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you need to talk to him. Okay, I'm going to call him. Bro, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not fussing. I'm giving you the real truth. I got the blueprint. Enough dudes is yelling. You got coaches. You got your mama. You probably got your, everybody. And I'm like, man, look, I ain't here for all that. Because what I'm offering you is information and knowledge from some stuff I did for real.
Real Jew.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I've been through it. Like, I've been through everything you talking about, bro. You can't tell me nothing I ain't been through. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Girls trying to be cool, fit in, party, peer pressure. You know what I mean? I'm like, I've been through all of that, bro. Like, just keep the pressure off your mama. Make it easier on yourself by being proactive on and off the court. And it's going to go a long way. These boys, I'm like, they got offers, like, off AAU. That was kind of unheard of when I was growing up. You know what I mean? So, man, it's just like, I tell them that, man. I got a quote CY gave to my little cousin. Well, he gave it to me to relay the message. When he offered him, he said, listen, man. He said, you blessed. You in the 9th grade, you getting a lot of attention. He said, don't worry about rankings. Don't worry about that. Because he was worried about it a little bit. Some of his homies had offers already. Like, Lil Biscuit got the Virginia Tech offer. He like, Lil Cuz got the Kansas offer. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So he like, damn, I'm playing with these dudes against me. He kind of started getting frustrated. So I was telling him, like, bro, don't worry about that. You know what I mean? So see why he was like, look, tell him if you rank and you the #1 freshman in the nation, do you know what you get for that? He was like, huh? He was like, do you know what you get for being the #1 freshman in the nation? He was like, nah, what? He was like, you get to be a sophomore. You did nothing.
Right.
You gotta stay locked in, bro. You know what I mean? That's why I thank God I got people like CY to help me with this, because I haven't been dealing with AAU. You know what I mean? I done trained kids and all that kind of stuff, like kind of on some out of nowhere. Like, I might just be working on myself. And then, like, yo, can you work him out? And I'll come, I let him jump in or I go do something, depending on, the kid. But yeah, man, that's real. Just staying proactive,
Stay humble,
staying locked in. Yeah, man, for real, bro.
Yeah.
Tell them. Like 99% of them kids I've seen with that mentality, if they ain't playing the league, they played overseas for a long time.
That's right.
I got a lot of homies that still playing with that mentality.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, man. Before we let you go, just you mentioned earlier too, all the stuff you're doing in the community. That's a big part of mentoring kids. AAU is staying in the community, trying to help the community, help the kids. You got the clothing line. I saw you had a shirt, a Good Police shirt.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite joints.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Yeah. All right, so first of all, let me say shout out to Vina Vaughn, my manager, and shout out to Mary Francis. Mary Francis is my curator for my clothing company. She's out in LA. Vina's here in Charlotte with me. And they the best employees somebody could ever have in life. You know what I mean? So basically with that Tito, I was talking to Mary. I was like, I like street signs. So like, I think that the shirt already, what it represents is we only respect the good police and we don't respect the bad ones.
Right.
So it's not like F the police, you know what I'm saying? It's like F the bad police,
Right.
the ones that's taking us out, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? And she was like, this is Mary. She's like, you sure you want to make? I'm like, yeah, I'm aware. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's real.
Right.
I named it the Good Police Tee. Like, it's
Right.
not like I'm out here saying F the police. Like, it's real. And people ask me about it, and I explain it to them. You know what I mean? And it's one of my favorite shirts. I want to do it in black, but she kind of don't. She kind of like, oh, you got to do something else. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I might. I might bring it back in black. But yeah, man. I mean, I made that tee like last year or something like that.
Right.
It's just like it resonated. Like people started buying more because of the climate now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And,
Oh, shit, I want one. You know what I mean?
Hey man,
and shout out to that sweater too.
SenseOfStyle.com.
Psychologist,
What's
man.
senseofstyle.com?
OwnSenseOfStyle.com.
OwnSenseOfStyle.com.
Yeah, all one word. All one word.
We got to rep
Just
that
like
sweater he has on, Mo.
Word up.
Support
Yeah,
black
man.
colleges, man.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the homies. Yeah. Shout out to the homies right here, man. I just ordered like 2 hoodies yesterday. I ordered some more stuff yesterday, and me and a few of my homies support their brand, man. Like my man had the hat and the shirt on yesterday, and you know I think it's important, man. Obviously, you got guys like young Mikey and some of these kids saying, "Yo, I might go to Hampton. I might go to North Carolina Central or something." Like I'm like, bro, y'all got the talent.
Yeah.
The talent ain't going away. It don't matter where you display it at. You know you going.
Scouts will be
You know
there.
what I'm saying?
Right.
Scouts coming wherever you at.
They'll just add more. They'll add more TV games. That's all.
That's it.
That's it.
Shout out
More
to
revenue for Black College.
Shout out to mine, man. Morehouse College, man. I got to shout out, man.
For sure. Shout out Justo. Justo went to Morehouse. Shout out to Justo.
We had Ato, Compton Magic from the Compton Magic on a couple weeks ago, or a week or so ago, talking about Mikey and the impact that him saying that he would go to a HBCU, that the impact that had. You feel that too? Yeah,
because I mean, and I think and shout out to him. He just moved down here to Concord, Lake Norman.
Right.
Yeah, he's gonna be a Lake Norman Christian. Yeah, that's dope. Shout out to his aunt Shay Dawson with Overtime. And it's just like, I think it's just him with that statement. Cause see, that's him, that's the kids watching.
That's right.
They know. You can't dismiss them because they watching. You know what I'm saying? Like, this boy already got the mentality of a grown man saying stuff like that.
Right.
You know, he like, I know my work. That's why I like where we are with these kids. Cause I'm big on education, don't get me wrong. But it's to teach me how to learn versus just teaching me what you want me to know. That's pigeonholing people. You know what I'm saying? And kids seeing like, hey man, like Mikey, you sitting back like, why can't I get paid for me being famous just because I'm not a grown man? I'm 14, I'm famous because he is famous. So I'm like, absolutely, he should be getting paid off his brand now.
Word.
What we waiting on?
2.6 million followers on Instagram, son.
Come on, man. You can't tell me that I have to go to college to capitalize on who I am now today. You know what I mean? Like now the other side of that is obviously staying humble and doing it the right way.
Right.
But he should have something set up where he making a lot of money off all of this, all of his fan base and support.
Right.
He should be able to sell shirts, merch, clothes, all that. He should capitalize on that.
Yeah.
It don't matter how old he is.
Yeah.
So for him to say that, I'm like, he already thinking outside the box. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I can respect that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast right there, talking about
I know, man.
What he should be able to do in the NCAA and all that stuff. We'll
I always speak my mind.
We'll review.
I'm trying to tell you. I'll be back. Anytime y'all want me back, I'm coming back.
Man, AM, man, we appreciate you, brother.
Bro, I appreciate y'all, dog. Real talk. Real. You know,
word up
me.
Word up. The great Anthony Morrow, Charlotte legend, former
the
NBA sniper, Georgia Tech product. Appreciate you, man, for joining us.
Thank you,
and
Charlotte, stand up.
Hey, you already know. Selmo folk.
Yes,
Goes
sir.
up forever.
Yes, sir.
Word up, man. Appreciate it.
All right,
Thank
bro.
you, brother. I
Peace.
appreciate y'all.
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
Peace, King.
Peace.
So there it is.
Yeah, my wife coming on. How
All
you
right.
doing?
All right.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Oh, he said, how you doing? You ain't
Yes.
here?
So
That
they,
was good, man.
yeah, that was real good. That was real good.
Yeah. Got our
Anthony,
first NBA player on,
Hello.
man.
how are you? Good to
Good,
see you
thank
again.
Same here.
Yeah. We getting ready to go to this virtual, man.
Oh, okay.
But let me
So,
sign off. You want to sign off real
yeah,
quick?
let's sign off quick.
Okay.
Yeah, so there you have it, Anthony Morrow. Appreciate him coming on, dropping all kind of jewels, really, on different topics. You know, another good one in the books, another good podcast in the books. Be sure to check us out all over social media on Instagram at Up Next Pod. Follow us.
Follow us.
You know what I'm saying?
Follow us.
Word up. Also on Twitter at Up Next _pod. And on as far as the podcast goes, keep listening, subscribe, tell a friend, rate and review the show. That gets traffic going as far as the podcast goes, and we'll keep bringing you the heat, right?
Yeah, we'll keep bringing you heat. We have more special guests coming up. They may be from the NBA, WNBA,
Right.
MLB, NFL, or your local AAU program. We're going to find you, and we're going to tap into who's coming up next in the sports world.
No doubt. There's an unlimited pool, man.
Yes, sir.
You know?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. All right, Khalid.
Man. All right, peace.
Until next time.
Peace to everyone.